What is up, everybody? How are you doing today? Check this out. We have a nice little intro. Gonna hit you with this real quick. Let's do super simple. It's our take action intro. We're just gonna get a little bit more to it, but I think it's just super simple. It's all about the take action community. That's why I come to you live every single Monday for Making Moves with Michael, is to support our take action community. If you want to join our take action community, just DM me, shoot me a message, text me, email me. If you know me, you got all that information. I don't need to give it out right now. If you don't know me, you found me somewhere on social media, so just DM me. It's super simple. Get part of our take action community where we have a monthly mastermind once a month, every second Wednesday of the month at 11 a.m. We have a mastermind where I bring some expert in and they go over some sort of framework. Last month or this month, we went over the frameworks for CRMs in order to help you connect with your network better using CRMs. Not sure what we're going to do for February, but it'll be cool. Usually it has to do with somebody that's in my network that's an expert on something. So definitely DM me for the Take Action community. And then, of course, these lives that I do are to completely support all of the entrepreneurs and business leaders that are part of the Take Action community. And of course, you're watching, right? So this is to support you. So I'm hoping that whatever I bring to you today is going to help you in your day, in your week, in your month, in your year, in your life. And today we're talking time management. So some people have asked me, where do you come up with these topics? Here's how they come up. Here's how the topics come up, people. It's super simple. It's like, Michael, what do you need to work on? Let's see, Michael. You need to work on time management. Oh, okay. That's the topic today. When you are in personal development and professional development, what you find out is that most of the people teaching you are teaching you something that they need to learn, need to do, or want to learn, or want to do, or have learned and want to share. And so a lot of the frameworks that I come up with, a lot of the ideas, a lot of the teachings that I share on my Making Moves with Michael and in my Take Action community and with my coaching programs all come from things that I needed to learn or wanted to learn and now have either mastered or am improving at or need to get better at. And I'm sharing it with you and teaching you or going through the ways that are helping me do the things that I want to do to fulfill my life. So today we're going to talk about time management because this is a pressing issue for me. I have had a lot of projects that I've been wanting to see through and have had a lot of trouble with seeing them through recently. I've been struggling with it. I've been talking with my coach about it. I've been talking with Katie about it, my marketing manager. I've been talking with a lot of people about it. And so this is a big topic and I want to share it with you. It's also a little preview, everybody, a little preview. It's also a little preview for my new boot camp that I'm going to be kicking off very soon. You're going to be hearing a lot more about it, but I'll be kicking off a boot camp for CEOs who are looking to maximize their time without giving up their lives and be able to level up their business without giving up their lives to live in harmony. So this is just a little taste of some of the teachings that I'll be doing within that boot camp. So let's jump into it. Time management. You're an entrepreneur, you're a CEO, you're a leader, you're doing something in your community, in your business, and in your life, and it's eating up your time. And I know from personal experience that when something is eating up my time, I start feeling overwhelmed. I start feeling pressure. Simple example, everybody. So my family, we go to bed very, very early, at least in perspective to most people. We start going to bed around 7 o'clock. And I know that if I start any tasks around 7 o'clock, I can feel the pressure of my wife, Devin, wanting me to be done with it and go to bed. And so what happens is that if I do that task and she kind of gives me the little eye of like, you better get that done in the next 5 or 10 minutes, and I start that task, and then let's say Denise or Tenley comes in and interrupts that task, I get overwhelmed and pressure is mounting, and then I lose my patience. And this is a true story. The other night, Friday night, I was making basketball plans, coaching plans for Saturday morning. I wasn't going to be able to coach Saturday morning. And so I wanted to set up all the coaches with the coaching plan that I had set out. And so Friday night, a couple things came up. Our dryer got busted and we had to work on that and everything. So I didn't get to go to the coaching plans. So it was around 7 o'clock when I sat down and started working on these coaching plans. Devin understood that I had a responsibility to these coaches to get these plans out, but she also wanted me to go to bed. And so she kind of gave me the eye and she went to bed. And then, sure enough, within about 10 minutes, Denise comes out and starts asking me questions. And rather than answering her how I would normally answer her and say, oh, yeah, this is that, or whatever it was, I forgot the question that she asked me, or answering her kindly and nicely, I said, Denise, I don't know. And I snapped at her. And I knew I snapped at her because I kind of apologized very quickly. And then I went back to my work. I said, I'm trying to get this done. So what happened there? I acted outside of my integrity because I felt the pressure and the overwhelm of needing to get this task done in a short period of time. This could have been avoided. The truth is, this could have been avoided. And this story, which is true, but this story is an example of, I'm sure you have in your life, whether it was at work where you were trying to get a paper done and management was on top of you, or your boss was on top of you and you snapped at a coworker, or it was at home, or it was in your hobby, whatever it was. If you're feeling the pressure of time, you're going to act outside of your integrity when you feel that pressure. So, what I'm going to share with you is three ideas, three strategies, framework, however you want to phrase this, but three ways that can really help you not get yourself into that situation. Now, here I am teaching this to you, knowing that I get myself into this situation pretty regularly. So, I want to share with you that it's not easy. And I say this to you so that you can give yourself some grace. One of the biggest things that I've learned in personal development is to give ourselves some grace, to recognize that we're trying our best. We're doing the best we possibly can. We're learning something new, we're implementing it in our lives, and we're trying as hard as we can to get better at it. And trust me, as long as you do it, you implement it, you stick with it, you will get better. And then a wrench will get thrown in and you'll get all messed up. Don't let that sidetrack you from your goal. Go back to it and put it back in. So let's jump into the first thing. So one of my biggest pieces in terms of time management is prioritizing. It's one of my biggest things is prioritizing. My coach and I have gone over this, and I was just speaking about this recently in another group. Prioritizing. Here's how I prioritize. I do it very differently than most business leaders and most entrepreneurs might talk about. What most people might talk about is prioritizing the activities, the needle moving activities, prioritizing the activities that are going to make you the most profit. And while this is true, I look at it differently. So maybe from my lens, it's still moving the needle and it's still one of the most revenue driven activities. But from my lens, it has to do with energy. The way I look at it is prioritizing things that I have the most energy for. What is it that moves me? What is it that I want to do? What is it that I like feel the urge, the sense of like I got to do this thing. I feel like if I could prioritize all of the things that I love to do, that I'm passionate about, that I have energy for, then I could build momentum. And in that momentum, I could add in the things that I don't necessarily like. So, for instance, let's use you going to the gym as an example here. I really love going to the gym. I'm passionate about going to the gym. And many of you either go to the gym, have gone to the gym, or don't like the gym at all, but you'll understand the analogy that I'm making here. In working out, when I go to the gym, there are certain exercises that I really enjoy doing. There's like push exercises. I really enjoy push exercises, no matter what it is. If it's chest press, or I can't think of another one. So we'll just use or shoulder press or leg press. I really like these push exercises. So think of it, you're pushing things. For some reason, I just really enjoy that kind of exercise. I dislike pull exercises, pulling down, my leg extensions and leg curls. I dislike those. Now, I want to be clear here. I say I dislike them, but I don't dislike them. They're just not the ones I enjoy the most, right? So, how do I plan my workout? I plan my workout around push exercises. I can't do them every day. And if you're a fitness guru, you know I got to mix it up and I got to do things different. And sometimes I got to start with the things I don't like. But my point that I'm making here is that I include push exercises because then I'm like, oh, I can't wait to do that one. Or I start that one and now I'm in the groove and I'm in the flow. And it's like, oh, I got to do this pull exercise, but it's all good because I'm already in it. So rather than doing a whole day of pull, which I would dread, I have push mixed in there. Or I might start with push and then end with pull, or I might start with a pull, but know that there's some push in there because I know I'll enjoy it. So to come out of the fitness analogy here and just to go into, just simply put, is that I go towards the things, I start doing the things, or I prioritize the things that I get the most fulfillment and enjoyment in. And I do this so that I have the momentum. So I build momentum towards my goal. So I build momentum towards the thing I want to achieve, knowing that I'm going to have to do things I dislike in between. I'm going to have to do the filing or the paperwork or the phone call. There's going to be those little things in between, but I sprinkle them in to the things I enjoy doing the most. So by prioritizing the things I enjoy doing the most, I can sprinkle in the rest. And then I don't feel this feeling of this energetic suck, right? Because that's what happens when we look at our to-do list. If it's a whole bunch of things we don't want to do, it just sucks and drains the energy out of us. When we have a to-do list, we want to make sure we have the most energy. And the way that we have the most energy is by going into our to-do list with the passion and drive towards the things we enjoy and that we want to do. And of course, knowing that there's going to be some days, there's going to be some weeks that we're going to have to do things that we don't want to do. And that's why we have a coach who really helps hold you accountable, which we're going to talk about next. All right. So let's just go on this. Let me just wrap this part up. This first part, I got 3 parts for you. So this first part is from an energy standpoint, how do I want to prioritize my goals for the week, my to-dos for the week? So from an energy standpoint, how do I feel about this? So go for the things that you feel really good, start prioritizing them. And what you'll notice is that as you prioritize the things that you feel really good about, they actually will be more than likely needle moving activities. They actually will be revenue driving activities. Of course, in there's going to be fun things like being with family and playing basketball for me and exercising and walking outside and cooking and doing all sorts of different things that you enjoy doing that aren't needle moving or anything or revenue driving, but they're part of building that momentum. So when we're prioritizing, I don't want us to lose sight of all the little things that come in and bring us joy. Because as you're going towards your goals, the only way you're going to avoid burnout is if you enjoy going after your goals. So prioritize based off of how you feel, your energy, build that momentum, and then sprinkle in the stuff that sucks or that you don't want to do. All right, that's number 1. Here's number 2. The second one is block time. Love block time. I absolutely love talking about block time. Block time's huge. Many of you have heard about block time, but I'm going to go a little deeper into block time here. So block time is simple. Block time is simply looking at our calendar and blocking off times of focus for different activities, right? So it could be block time for the gym, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, right? You have block time from 9 to 10 for the gym, let's say. Maybe it's a writing project on Mondays at 1 o'clock, on Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. Maybe it's a research project on Tuesdays at 2 o'clock and on Thursdays at 2 o'clock. So you have block time for these different activities. They might be for different businesses. Like I have an insurance business. Mondays is for insurance. Tuesdays is for public speaking. Thursdays is for podcasting. So you mix it up however you choose. The point is that you're setting up blocks of time for these different businesses or activities. And now let's go deeper because we understand the concept of block time, but here's where people get hung up. We set up an entire day for something. So you say from 8 to 5, I'm blocking off for this activity. The reality is that you can't respect 8 to 5. Are there days where we have an intensive or a boot camp or something like that, where there's an entire agenda and itinerary for it? Absolutely. But for the most part, when you're blocking off time for a writing project, a research project, or whatever it is for work or for life, you're not blocking off a whole day, right? Like if I blocked up the whole day for the gym, that just doesn't even make sense unless I'm like some sort of bodybuilder, which I'm not. So we're blocking off time that makes sense. So let's use the gym, for instance. For me, it's 2 hours. I go to the gym, I work out, but then I also go to the sauna and the cold plunge. I also use it as a networking time where I meet people at the gym. I talk about business with them. I talk about personal development. I make a lot of connections there. So I spend a lot of time there. And so I block off 2 hours of my day almost every day of the week, except for weekends. I block off for the gym. And that's realistic for me. And so let's talk about realistic. When we're setting up our block times, we have to be realistic about the time that we're going to spend. Writing is another thing that I do. So I have a book that I'm working on, and writing is part of putting this book out. I'd like to, and I tried this, block off 3 hours twice a week of block time for the book. What I recognized is that within an hour of writing, I'm exhausted. I haven't built the strength, I haven't built the endurance to be able to write for longer than an hour. I'm sure I'm capable of doing it, but I haven't built up to 3 hours. And so jumping into writing for 3 hours was not realistic for me. And so what happened was I started disrespecting that block time. So when I say disrespect, I want you to think of your block time as setting appointments with yourself. Just as you would set an appointment with somebody else, just as you would set an appointment with a friend, a colleague, a coworker, a client, you would set an appointment with them and you would show up at the time you said you were to show up, and you'd probably end at the time you said you would end. You need to do the same for yourself. You have to respect those boundaries, because when you don't respect those boundaries, when you don't show up on time and when you don't end on time, you stop respecting the block time. Think of it again as setting an appointment with a friend, a colleague, or a client, right? If you set an appointment with someone and said, I'm going to meet you on Tuesday at 2 o'clock, and you showed up Tuesday at 2 o'clock and they weren't there, you'd say, you know what? I'll give them a pass. Call them up. Hey, next Tuesday at 2 o'clock, will that work for you? Yeah, yeah, yeah. You show up, they don't show up again. Do you think by the third or fourth time you might stop showing up on Tuesday at 2 o'clock? Absolutely. So this is what we do to ourselves. If we set up a block time for something and we don't show up to it consistently, maybe one off, not a big deal, but consistently 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days in a row of not showing up to our block time, well, then guess what? We're never going to show up to that block time because we never paid it the respect that it deserved. Okay, now let's say that you actually do show up for your block time. You show up 2 o'clock, you're punctual, 2 o'clock on Tuesday. And let's use the example again of a client or a friend. You show up, you meet with them, right? But you have an end time of 3 o'clock. So you started at 2, you have an end time of 3. It's a 1 hour meeting. And you go to 3:30. You know what? One time you go half hour over, no big deal. But every time you go half hour, 40 minutes over, every single time you end at 3:30, 4 o'clock, right? Eventually you're going to say, I don't know if I have time to meet with this person. I know we're going to meet at 2 o'clock, but every time we meet, we end up going till 4 o'clock or till 3:30, and I just don't have the time. So what do? You cancel it off your schedule. Well, the same happens with you. When you don't set the boundary in your block time to end at the time that you said you're going to end, and you start disrespecting that time, you stop respecting that block time in the future. You start looking at that 2 o'clock going, I know it's only from 2 to 3, but it's really from 2 to 3:30, but it's really from 2 to 4. So here's a little caveat to that I want to make sure that we understand is that if the work requires an hour and a half or 2 hours, then I totally get it. Then we need to reassess that block and say, maybe I do need to set this block for 2 hours. But if it doesn't require the extra half hour or extra 2 hours, well, then respect the boundary and stop after the hour. So when we're looking at block time, it's so important that we respect the time. We look at the block time as an appointment with ourselves, and we respect that time from the start time to the end time. Easier said than done, people. I promise you, I have broken a lot of block time with myself. And so here's the little piece that I want to put in here to add to this to really make it even better for you is having an accountability partner. So I brought up my book and I brought up writing for my book, right? And I was writing for my book. I was doing really great. I was having a check-in with my publisher once a week, every Tuesday, I think it was. I think it was every Tuesday at 3 p.m. He and I were meeting. Every Tuesday at 3 p.m. he and I would meet. So what do you think I did leading up to that meeting? I might not have worked on the book the whole week, but sure enough, an hour before sometimes, like really, like last minute kind of thing, an hour before, a day before, 2 days before, whatever it was, I would be writing towards the book. I'd be writing a chapter, I'd be revising a chapter, I'd be adding something, I'd be putting some comment, I'd be rereading something so that when I met with him at 3 o'clock on Tuesday, I'd have something to go over, something to review with him. It was an accountability check in with me. And then eventually something happened. I forget what it was. I think I was working on my keynote at the time, to be honest. I think I was, and actually, that's exactly what happened. It was over the summer. I was working on my keynote and I said, Matt, I just need to take a break from meeting. I'm going to keep writing. Don't worry about it. I just don't have the time to meet with you. So let's just take it off the calendar for a little while. I'm going to work on my keynote. Well, by the way, I had an accountability partner for my keynote. I had a coach, and he and I met every week, and we were going over my keynote together. But I fell off on the book writing. Now we have priorities, and remember, we go back to energy and priorities and energy. And when we look at it from an energy standpoint, my energy was really into my keynote and working on that because I was going to be hitting that up in September, which I crushed, by the way. Loved it. Big shout out to Jason and everybody over there. So my energy was there and it really wasn't in the book, but I'm sure I would have completed some chapters in the book if I kept the accountability there, the check ins with Matt. And so Matt and I revised it and I said, all right, I'm back on. I did my keynote. Let's get writing again. But I said, well, I don't need the check ins. I'm going to just keep writing. And he said, okay. And then I realized that without the check ins, I actually stopped writing. And this has been going on for several weeks now, several months now, where I haven't really been writing towards the book. There's some energy and some priorities that are taking over instead of the book right now. It's not an energy priority for me. So, I mean, this is real when I'm talking to you people about this energy priority thing. However, I know that if I jump back in with Matt and start working towards my goals and having some accountability on my book, that I will start writing for the book. So I want to go back to why I'm bringing up this example for you, this very true example for you, is that in block time, what I want you to do is I want you to reach out to someone. It can be a coach, it can be a friend, it could be a colleague, it could be somebody that you hired, and have them as an accountability partner. That accountability partner is not there to be punitive. They're not there to berate you. They're not there to make you feel bad or shame you. You're probably already doing it, as you could tell, as I am doing for myself with writing in my book. They are there to hold space for you. They're there to simply say, hey, where are you at? What do you need? What are you struggling with? What are the challenges? How can I help you move forward? Do you need more time for a check in this week? Maybe you need an extra hour. Maybe we need to reschedule this week. But they're holding that space for you so that you could check in, so you could see where you're at, so that maybe you do crunch a chapter before the meeting. But either way, you got it done, right? Crunching before a meeting and getting it done is better than not doing anything. Okay. And maybe you say, I don't want to crunch anymore. And maybe I set myself up a little bit better. Yeah, I'm speaking to myself here, people. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I told you, I prefaced this one here with a lot of the stuff I'm going to be teaching and talking about today is stuff that I need to hear for myself. So, absolutely. So, I want to go back to this again in terms of block time. So, block time, when we set block time up, we have to look at it and go, okay, what am I setting it up for? From an energy perspective, is it something I want to prioritize and put my energy towards? Yes, great. Okay, can I keep the appointment with myself? So, does the time that I'm putting it in make sense? Does the amount of time I'm putting it in for make sense? Yes, okay, great. And then now let's get an accountability partner. Let's get someone to hold us accountable. Someone that we just say, hey, can I just text you at 2 o'clock on Tuesdays and just say I got this done? And you just hold space for me? And let them know ahead of time what holding space for you looks like, right? So that's all you need to do there. And then finally, my third piece for you today is scheduling. So now we know from an energy standpoint what we want to do. We want to block it off on our calendar. And now we want to schedule it into our lives. I'm reading this great book called The 12-Week Year, and it talks about just setting things up in a 12-week format. And I think anywhere from a 6-week to a 12-week format is really great to set these small goals that help us accomplish our big goals, right? We have these big goals, we have these end of year goals, maybe we have 2-year goals, 5-year goals, 10-year plans, which is pretty crazy because I think 10 years ago I was a totally different person. So I don't know what a 10-year goal would look like for me. But if we're setting these big goals, we have to have the little ones along the way in order to show the progress. We need to see progress. So before I get into the progress part, let's get into these little goals. So in terms of scheduling, so now we know what we want when we want it. Now we need to look at our calendar in terms of 6 weeks and 12 weeks blocks, right? What do we want to accomplish within these 6 weeks or 12 weeks? Let's just use 12 weeks because that's the book that I'm reading, the 12-week year. Excuse me, the 12-week year. So let's use the 12 weeks. What do I want to accomplish in 12 weeks? So looking at it from the 12-week part of in 12 weeks, here's where I want to be. Now I can work backwards and I can start blocking off time in order to accomplish what I want in 12 weeks. The 12 weeks can be another 12 weeks on the other end in order to get closer to a bigger goal. But what's my 12-week goal? What is it that I want to accomplish in 12 weeks that's going to move the needle? That's what we're talking about. We're always moving the needle. We're moving a needle anywhere, somewhere, right? So what do I want to accomplish in those 12 weeks to get me there? And so when I schedule it out and I look at my 12 weeks, now I know what's going on. Maybe I have a vacation in there. Maybe I have a meeting in there that's really important. Maybe I'm going away to a conference in there. There's all sorts of different things in those 12 weeks that are happening. And that now, when I set up my block time, I can plan for. So in scheduling, we're planning ahead to make sure that we're successful. And then now we get into progress. By setting it up in these small increments, we can see progress along the way. The progress is informing us if we're doing the right things, if we're blocking the time right, if we're respecting the block time. The progress is information. It's letting us know, hey, here's where you're at. Look at what you've accomplished. Or here's where you're at. Look at how much you've fallen off and you need to do some extra work or you need to get back on the wagon. So it's so important because it's only 6 weeks. If you fell off for a week or two, you see it right away. And by knowing right away, then you know you need to change quickly. So if you look at it in a year's time and you fall off for 2 weeks, you don't notice it. You don't notice that you need to change. And that's how we fall into that slide. But if we do it in a 6 or 12-week plan, we go, whoa, I'm 2 weeks behind. I only got 10 weeks left. Or I only got 3 weeks left, wherever you are. So it lets you know very quickly. And also, if you're not falling behind and you're doing great, it also lets you celebrate those wins that I talk about. You get to celebrate it. You get to say, wow, look at how good I'm doing. Look at the momentum I'm building. Look at what I'm creating here. And it feels really good. And when it feels good, you're putting more energy into it, which then you're prioritizing, then you're respecting your blocks, and you're scheduling it better. I want to thank you so much for watching this Making Moves with Michael today. Remember, this Making Moves with Michael is for our Take Action community. It's for you. It's for entrepreneurs, leaders just like you, CEOs, people that want to improve both in their personal life and in their professional life. I come to you with a different idea, strategy, framework, and I come from personal experience. I implement everything I talk about, I implement in my life in order to get shows like this off the ground. This was a heavy lift. In order to do stuff like this, I implement these strategies in my life. If you want to be a part of the Take Action community, just DM me. Like I said, if you found this video, you can DM me. And if you don't, Michael Esposito, blah, blah, blah. If you can't DM me and you want to email me, you're going to email me at michael@michaelespositoinc.com. My website is michaelespositoinc.com. Just go there. Go to michaelespositoinc.com. Super simple to find me. Like I said, stay tuned. I have a boot camp starting for CEOs and entrepreneurs, leaders just like you. It's a 6-week boot camp. I'll share more details at a later date. Of course, we have the Shining Light every Thursday at 1. Got a great guest this Thursday at 1 o'clock. And check out the Michael Esposito Show on iTunes, iHeart app, Spotify, all your streaming platforms for my podcast and our latest episodes, kicking off a new season very soon. I want to thank you for watching. As always, stay happy and stay healthy, and I'll see you all soon. Bye, everyone.